We're now going to open with a song that explores the changing historical attitudes about the worth of a bay. In this case, our very own jewel, Narragansett Bay. The song, "Oh, These Glorious Years."
Aren't these glorious years, 100 glorious years? Subsistence living inspires thanksgiving. All these glorious years.
The water is so crystalline, the seagrass beds extensive.
Kelp beds line the southern shore.
Of oyster beds there's even more.
The salt marsh adds decayed decor, and fish is inexpensive.
Passages up streams and rivers open wide for spawning fish.
The estuary flow is slow, so eggs and larvae get to grow. With nature we're simpatico, catch any fish you wish.
Aren't these glorious years, 100 glorious years? Industrialization sweeps the nation. All these glorious years.
The factories are flourishing and dams make hydropower.
Railroad spurs on widespread trade, the gilded years seed fortunes made.
Those stocks of fishes start to fade, stocks in business flower.
But progress is the watchword.
No time for sitting pensive.
We catch fish from this paradise.
We sell it off to buy it twice.
It travels back all packed in ice, fresh, frozen, and expensive.
Aren't these glorious years, 100 glorious years? But all the damage is hard to manage from these glorious years.
Invasive species flourish,
and some stand on 2 feet.
The globe warms up, earth, water, air.
Pollutants show up everywhere, from farm car, boat, and scat of bear that in the woods excrete.
Everybody's got ideas.
The Army Corps of Engineers.
senators, hydrologists,
Estuarine biologists,
Realtors, entrepreneurs,
tourists, oceanographers,
fishers and container shippers.
critters who have gills and flippers.
Settle down.
Coastal land is very dear, just ask any financier.
We need more glorious years, 100 glorious years. We're not held captive if we are adaptive. We'll have more glorious years.
300 years of policy, of laws and regulation have brought on change.
Some rich and strange.
A lot that we did not arrange.
so here's our obligation.
To gather the constituents.
Agree upon a course,
Then monitor the data.
check it now and later.
Change with an indicator.
That's a course we can endorse. We'll have more glorious years, 100 glorious years. We're not held captive if we are adaptive. We need more glorious years.
This next number addresses the living entity of the estuary, the nurseries of the oceans, where salt water meets fresh on the journey from the river to sea and back again. Delicate systems are crucial to the ecosystem of marine life, waterfowl, and many other critters, including humans. And this song relies on estuaries as the hottest of spots for reproduction. Where there is sex, what better than once the, wait, well, shoot, I messed up the joke. Where there is sex, what better than the once banned Latin rhythm, the Estuarine Begin.
Estuary, pulsing tidal motion. Estuary, nursery of the ocean. Aesthetic frenetic, fertility, fragility, prolific, scientific, solidity, vicinity, estuary, rhythmic, coastal rhapsody, estuary where the rivers meet the sea.
Sensuous ribbons of water, twisting and turning on their way. Streams and rivers gathering nutrients and silt on their journey to the bay.
Wending their way to the ocean, the deep and mighty salty sea. Waters mix up, salinity goes up.
Ecosystems in total harmony. Estuary, pulsing tidal motion.
Estuary, nursery of the ocean. Aesthetic, frenetic, fertility, fragility, prolific, scientific, salinity, vicinity. Estuary, rhythmic, coastal rhapsody. Estuary where the rivers meet the sea. Habitat richly layered with species, with critters microscopic it is rife. Grasses and birds, mollusks, worms and fish, in this community of life.
An acre within an estuary produces more food and has more charm. So you see that it's a cinch with more bounty inch by inch than an acre on some Midwestern farm.
Estuary, pulsing tidal motion. Estuary, nursery of the ocean. Aesthetic, frenetic, fertility, fragility, prolific, scientific, salinity, vicinity. Estuary, rhythmic, coastal rhapsody. Estuary where the rivers meet the sea.
The fabric of grasses in the marshes filters the water as it goes. The grasses capture what the river brings down. Then they dry up and fall and decompose.
Estuaries serve to protect us from the pounding of the ocean's powerful arm. They shield the breeding grounds of many species.
Also, real estate from surging tidal harm.
Estuary, pulsing tidal motion. Estuary, nursery of the ocean. Aesthetic, frenetic, fertility, fragility, prolific, scientific, salinity, vicinity. Estuary, rhythmic, coastal rhapsody. Estuary where the rivers meet the sea. Billions of dollars for the economy from estuaries flow into the pot.
Fishing, swimming, diving, looking,
living, learning, pocket booking, flourish around this gorgeous spot.
2/3 of the country's population enjoyed an estuary this year. But when they turn to go, we wonder if they know how quickly this wealth could disappear. Common sense must prevail. Ecosystems are frail at the water meets water frontier.
Estuary, rhythmic, coastal rhapsody. Estuary. Estuary where the rivers meet the sea. We now take a look at the state of human-induced change in the environment as we sing about the human footprint and the Anthropocene. Yes. Deserts of quiet. Deserts of quiet, night skies of mystery.
history, ice fields of whispers, forests of history, mountains of majesty, prairies of treasures, oceans of wonderment, rivers of pleasure.
Topsoil from China is choking the Rockies. Mountains of ice tumble into South Seas. Acres of rainforests fade into legend. The earth is infected with human disease. You can't miss the footprint, just follow the path. You'll see where we've traveled, see our aftermath. You can't just erase us, we go where we please. It's easy to trace us. The earth is infected with human disease. Deserts of quiet, night skies of mystery, ice fields of whispers, forests of history, mountains of majesty, prairies of treasure, oceans of wonderment, rivers of pleasure. Power and progress make justice elusive, but money's illusion is not a reprise. The ills of our planet are nothing exclusive. The earth is infected with human disease. We can't heal what's wounded, the scars will remain. Traversing our landscapes, our legacies plain. Hear destiny's voices, the day's ours to seize. We have no more choices. The earth is infected with human disease. Deserts of quiet, night skies of mystery, ice fields of whispers, forests of history, mountains of majesty, prairies of treasure, oceans of wonderment, rivers of pleasure, oceans of wonderment, rivers of pleasure. Reefs are the rainforests of the ocean, and they are rapidly dying from bleaching as a result of global climate change and the associated stressors leading to band disease and loss of biodiversity. Although they exist in multiple zones, nowhere are they more enticing than in the tropics. So for such a cautionary tale, what better than a calypso? A coral calypso.
The coral herself, she is just itty-bitty. She comes in many colors, oh, she's very pretty. Together with her family and all her kin, they make a coral reef. Got so much life within. Millions of fishes and thousands of kinds live in a coral reef, and each one finds the thing that it needs to flourish and survive. A coral reef's not rock, it's a thing alive. Coral reefs, such biodiversity. Coral skeleton outside, not in, of calcium carbonate, a limestone skin. These skeletons pile up, make a habitat so grand, a jewel of nature strung into an eco-strand. Some algae make up nutrients that feed the coral polyp, and others shoot iron limestone for a coral structure wallop, a home to urchins, fishes, sponges, worms galore amid anemone, sea turtle, shrimp, and octopus and squid. Coral reef, such biodiversity. Coral reef, the garden beneath the sea. Reefs around the world are in a state of decline. A third of them are damaged, the rest we undermine. Stress of rising water temperature and global climate change cause diseases that kill corals with a toxic interchange. Plagues and poxies, bands of yellow, black, and red. The footprints of the tourist and pollution we dread. All kinds of overfishing, and not just fish to eat. An aquarium for Nemo as a pop culture treat. Coral reef, such biodiversity. Coral reef, the garden beneath the sea. From the time that they are larvae, fish know one reef as home. Ocean currents take them there, but wherever they may roam, they can smell or hear their home reef calling them to return. Let's protect those scents and melodies with everything we learn. The coral herself, she is just itty-bitty. She comes in lots of colors, oh, she's very pretty. Together with her family and all her kin, they make a coral reef. Got so much life within. Millions of fishes and thousands of kinds live in a coral reef, and each one finds the thing that it needs to flourish and survive. A coral reef's not rock, it's a thing alive. Coral reef, such biodiversity. Coral reef, the garden beneath the sea. We'll now take a look at one of our biggest challenges in protecting biodiversity and the health of the ecosystems as we focus on invasive. Be careful.
They can arrive on a ship.
They can arrive on the air.
You won't know they're coming
till they're already there.
They'll show up when they're invited.
They'll show up when they're not.
Might be brought in to solve a problem.
Or when a fat is hot,
could be seductive in their beauty. Might be fun for the kids, but they're invasive. Be careful. What's invasive? An animal, a plant, an insect, or germ.
A lizard, fish, a snake, or a carpenter worm.
Pretty purple loosestrife lining the road.
Or pest control invaders like the toxic cane toad.
Invasives hurt the economy, the environment, and health, and they're not native, not native. No,
invasive.
Take Phragmites, Australis americanus.
Spasiba.
Cállate la boca, soy idioto.
Common reed that's been around for years and years.
This feathery queen held swayed in marsh and wetlands till others came along her reedy peers.
Australis, Australis, that reedy marshland slut, will reproduce with rhizomes, stemmer seeds.
Recreating itself, maybe spawning others, little Frankenfrags, pervasive hybrid reeds.
Frags decompose to slowly raise the wetland biomass, and too much sediment these reeds will hold.
Little critters would be hatching if the sun shone in, but can't because the surface of the marsh stays dark and cold.
The bittersweet tale of the creeping kudzu vines.
Invasive zebra mussels clogging irrigation lines.
The invasive sea squirt covers Georgia's banks for miles and miles.
Asian clams have dainty beauty, then die off, leave rotten piles.
Invasives hurt the economy, the environment, and health, and they're not native, not native.
No invasive.
Oh, I hate them so much.
No invasive.
Politics and cultures can certainly affect a natural resource. This song examines the changes brought about in the natural floodplains, sedimentation, and delicate ecosystem of the Nile through the building of a dam. This is the Song of the Nile.
From far in the mountains of high Ethiopia come droplets of melting snow, small specks of earth, leaves and tall grasses decaying in rivulets, swirling together, transporting rebirth, eddying pools and rich muddy torrents, rivers conjoining to rush to the sea. Bursting its banks comes the Nile, the great giver, offering layers of silty debris. Flourishing sardines and flourishing prawns, a large pulse of nutrients, surface fresh water, blooms on the floodplains and blooms in the sea. Thousands of eyes watch for thousands of years, harvests of bounty and catches of plenty, the goodness that nature herself engineers. In Cairo, the populace swelled to new heights. Alexandria's multitude grew by the score as people laid claim to the land of the pharaohs. Living with flooding could go on no more. The Soviets helped pay for giant machines to harness the waters behind concrete forms in the land of the Sphinx, where wonders abound. Builders of pyramids to nature conforms.
Where are the sardines and where are the prawns? Less pulse of nutrients nutrients, deeper fresh water. Fertile flood waters don't reach land or sea. Thousands of eyes watch a death of 10 years. Millennial riches are rapidly sapped, and death by design is what man engineers. As Mediterranean sea stock goes down, Western allegiance begins to beguile Egyptians, discovering new ways of life. Indoor plumbing to sewers becomes all the style. Fertilization is all manufactured. Farmland no longer gets rich river sills. The drains and the ditches are sources of riches. With effluent plankton, stocks are rebuilt. Back are the sardines and back are the prawns. Constant flowing of nutrients, deeper mixed water. Though less than hygienic, it's anthropogenic. Now thousands of eyes watch the future unfold, hoping a delicate balance is found for river, for farmer, for city, for fisher, for creature, for history, for beauty, for sea. Change the course of a river, change the course of a culture. Water diversion, both new and yet old.
Let's take a look at Unintended Consequences as a cautionary tale in mitigation efforts for global climate change. The scientific oops.
Human beings are ingenious, solving problems left and right, like the car that gave us speed and less manure. It set our commerce rolling, gave us motorized delight, and the drawbacks were at first somewhat obscure. Today the automobile is frequently maligned, as if pollution problems were deliberately designed. But often great inventions and problems are aligned, and unintended consequences can be what we find.
Unintended consequences, positive feedback loops. Unintended consequences, the scientific oops.
Oops,
Oops.
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 Oh, I brought in mongoose to eat rats. They're making birds their prey.
Well, rats go forage in the night, and mongoose hunt by day.
This DDT's a miracle, kills pesky crawly things.
But ecosystems are destroyed in silent toxic springs.
Let's plant the ornamental kudzu to control erosion.
Oh my, this vine just grows and grows. Botanical explosion.
Asbestos has wrought miracles since ancient times Hellenic.
Who knew this insulating work was so carcinogenic?
Unintended consequences, positive feedback loops. Unintended consequences, the scientific
Oops.
Oops,
Oops.
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 So now we're faced with climate change, the need for mitigation.
But who decides the protocol
a brand new corporation?
Or should this take the form of international accord?
All avenues and all results should not go unexplored.
How about we fertilize the ocean with some iron to stimulate some massive algal blooms?
Or try some scrubbers on some smokestacks spewing carbon to cleanse the sky of mass-polluting fumes.
Oh, give the Earth some shades by mirrors out in space that bounce off rays sent straight down from the sun.
Yeah, or shoot some shading particles, sulfur dioxide, into the stratosphere. Geoengineering fun, right? Right? Fun?
It's hard to undo damage when good ideas go bad.
So urgent as the need may be, some caution must be had.
Efficiency with energy should be our global choice.
While every nation on this earth should have an equal voice in activating large-scale change through scientific thought exchange and value-centered interchange. It's then we can rejoice
And not have unintended consequences, positive feedback loops. Unintended consequences.
Oops.
oops,
Oops.
oops.
Oops. Nature is full of cycles, none more apparent than the water cycle. We'll follow the jivey journey that water takes and has taken for millions of years as Casey and I sing the water cycle boogie. Did you ever stop to think that the water that you drink has been around the earth since time began?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Oh, yeah.
And when you're in the bath, did you ever think the path that brings you water's part of nature's plan?
Yesterday in the shower, I was thinking just about that.
We're a couple of drips. We've buoyed up big ships.
And been tears that brimmed in eyes of tender maids.
Our typhoons may annoy ya, but we feed the great sequoia.
And been spilled in drops of blood in the crusades.
We've called the glaciers home, watching woolly mammoths roam. Chilly times before the planet's big defrost. And what a Red Sea rush when Moses parted us.
Dudes, the Rubicon. We're there when Caesar crossed.
Rain on a wall in China.
Been a puddle by a Dinah.
And swirled around the raft that bore Huck Finn. We've been around and get around in atmosphere and sea and ground. We're hydrologically beyond again.
With the rain coming down with a drip drop.
With the water hitting ground with a flippity plop.
With
Drops running off all over the land, over rocks, into dirt, through the muddly puddly sand. We head for the rivers and the lakes and the seas, where the sun gets us hot, making vapor in a jot. Then clouds are what you got, and we're right back at the start. The evaporating, transpirating, accumulating, condensating, and precipitating water cycle boogie. Mr. Sun is shining up in the sky,
heating up water no matter where we lie, turning us to vapors that can float in the air.
Then warmer air currents blow us everywhere.
Higher we go.
Oh, the cooler we get.
Being vapors a gas.
Being liquids wet. We're molecular bodies.
We're hip to the drip. We collect into clouds.
What a cumulus trip. It's a gathering time. Droplets starting
jive.
When it gets too heavy, we head for a dive.
Sleet, snow, rain, and scale coming down for all we're worth.
On a free-falling trip,
Headed straight for the earth, where the rain coming down with the drip drop, where the water hitting ground with the blippity plop, where drops running off all over the land, over drops
into dirt,
through the muddly puddly sand. We head for the rivers and the lakes and the sea, where the sun gets us hot, making vapor in a jot. Then clouds are what you got, and we're right back at the start. The evaporating, transpirating, accumulating, condensating, and precipitating water cycle boogie. We hit a hot spot, we rise in a mist.
If it's sand percolating round, the particles twist.
Hey, pavement makes runoff, we go right down the drain.
And that's what can happen to snow and rain.
We infiltrate the ground
Like armies of the night,
joining groundwater.
raising water table height.
It might transpire I get sucked up a tree,
Or make a run from a lake down a river to the sea.
In this perfect design, every molecule of water gets cleaned and purified the way that is harder for animals and plants.
Water gets clear, that
H2O cycle rolling year after year, where the rain coming down with the drip drop, where the water hitting ground with the blippity plop, where drops running off all over the land, over rocks into dirt, through the muddly puddly sand. We head for the rivers and the lakes and the sea, where the sun gets us hot, making vapor in a jot. Then clouds are what you got, and we're right back at the start. The evaporating, transpirating, accumulating, condensating, and precipitating water cycle boogie.
Ice-T and Ice Cube, move over. Steve here is here to tell you about the poles as the air conditioners of the planet. This is Ice is Nice.
Word.
The polar caps refrigerate, their cooling breezes instigate a temperature that's moderate. Oh, ice, 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 ice is nice.
I'm a backwoods dude from Michigan. I like my air conditioning, kick it high in July when those sun rays heat the sky. Or the dog days of August, heat can find you in the forest. Any fool goes for cool. I want permafrost and Anwar, not a tropic island sandbar. I'm a kid named Steve, and I live high off the grid. I'm in synergy with energy, doing my bid. But some science detectors want a mega surge protector, and the business sector don't get all the blame. We're all gluttons playing board games with the earth, and we're losing on all corners of this turf. And we're running out of luck. It is really gonna suck. When the ice melts, we're so fucked. We're like finished. When the ice from the poles is diminished, yeah, made you bad word freaks real nervous. Lighten up. Did you come for some church service?
Ice, 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 ice is nice.
Hey, I'm just up here performing about the threat of global warming with intensity, a storming, and the rising of the seas. My job is not to please, won't say please. Yo, put you at ease. Your kids are gonna freeze from the toxic breeze. Now when I go to Minnesota to check out the biota, I drive my new Toyota. It's a Prius. And to free us from oil addiction and American affliction. Yo, that oil is going fast. The supply ain't going fast. And that ain't, yo, science fiction. Yo, hey, I digress. Chill, baby, chill.
Chill, baby, chill.
Yo, what's the worst part of this mess? The story that is scary, worse than Stephen King and Carrie, is the tale of how we failed to protect ice. And ice, my fellow humans, ice is nice.
Ice, 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 ice is nice. Keep you cool down to the cold. Ice,
million years. No, living with no fears. Now polar ice is getting a bad rap. The majestic mountain glaciers getting scarcer out in nature. Less and less of ice to melt to turn to water. Death like drought will be a human-induced slaughter. Yo, water's everywhere, and not a drop to drink, cause the saline sea will infiltrate the ground, or the mountain water loss will be profound. Next think. Want a drink? Better head to Nevada or Colorado. Look, ironic. Drought there's getting chronic, like a plague of locusts, way worse than bubonic.
Ice is nice.
It's ice and snow that keep the world cool. Yo, remember that lesson from school? Some teacher taught how light reflects the sun's rays. Without them, we can braze in an ultraviolet haze unless we change our ways. So praise the ice. No roll of the dice. Think twice about ice.
Ice is nice, keep cool down to the cold. Ice is nice, keep it chilling, cooling more. Polar caps refrigerate, the cooling breezes instigate a temperature that's moderate. Oh, ice is nice.
Greenland's melting, ice and glaciers are creating Mulan. Not the Rouge for pretty ladies or a club for Don Juan. Big holes that run off from the deep bedrock where ice has been make a slippery slope to oceans where ice can fall in. The Arctic Ocean's melting, no more ice for Santa's elves. Bad for polar bears and Rudolph, and real bad for ourselves. The South Pole we discover, losing habitat and ice cover, exposing land and water which reflects the solar heat. Cause they're darker land and water, they can melt and more complete, which repeats and repeats and repeats. Melt the white, raise sea height, fight or flight. So dude, the point of my rapping is we better start adapting. Doing a rhyme, we out of time.
Out of time, out of time, out of time, out of time, out of time.
We gotta send that big hat. We gotta send that heat back to outer space. No time to lose to save the species race. Gotta stop the melt, convince the Bible Belt. Global warming's not God's hug, and there ain't no wonder drug. Repeat my credo, watch that albedo, puts a chill on my libido.
Ice is nice, keep it cool down to the cold. Ice is nice, keep on chilling, cool me more. Polar caps refrigerate, the cooling breezes instigate a temperature that's moderate. Oh, ice is nice.
Peace.
Well, nitrogen is getting a bad rap, what with eutrophication, the addition of excessive amounts of plant nutrients, primarily phosphorus, nitrogen, and carbon, to streams and lakes. Well, nitrogen is fed up and asks, why don't you like me anymore?
I'm a natural gal, your biochemical pal. My place in ecosystems I should mention. I am the life of the party, keep biodiversity hardy. But oxygen, hydrogen, carbon get all the attention. I make up 3/4 of the atmosphere, but let's get one thing really clear. My atoms have got a bond, that's my limiting factor. To use me, you gotta mix me, compound me, fix me. But if you make too much of me, I'm a really bad actor. You humans are really the trouble. You've made my input double. You've ruined my balance, made compounds of nitrogen soar. It's a downright shame that I get all the blame. Why don't you like me anymore? I used to exist in balance, attribute it to my valence.
Mother Nature's creation of nitrogen worked out fine. Then along came civilization and exploding procreation and lots of new ways for nitrogen to combine. Oh, you really treat me cruel, burning forest and fossil fuel, releasing my compounds locked up for year after year. Make that fertilizing slop grow a nitrogen-fixing crop. Release my compounds into the atmosphere. I'm a natural gal, your biochemical pal. My place in ecosystems I should mention. I am the life of the party. Keep biodiversity hardy. But oxygen, hydrogen, and carbon get all the attention. I make up 3/4 of the atmosphere, but let's get one thing really clear. My atoms have got a bond. That's my limiting factor. To use me, you gotta mix me, compound me, fix me. But if you make too much of me, I'm a really bad actor. Hey, you humans are really the trouble. You've made my input double. You ruined my balance, made compounds of nitrogen soar. It's a downright shame that I get all the blame. Why don't you like me anymore? No. Nitrous oxide that's made down here goes up into the stratosphere and bounces the heat from Earth right back this way. Nitrous oxide makes that ozone and acid rain and smoggy crap that ends up as pollutants in the bay. Nitrates that make a flower also have blooming power. Grew to algae that can choke a healthy pond. Then the oxygen gets low and the fishes start to go. No fairy godmother's coming along with the wood. I'm a natural gal, you biochemical pal. My place in ecosystems I should mention. I'm the life of the party. Keep biodiversity hardy, but oxygen, hydrogen, carbon get all the attention. I make up 3/4 of the atmosphere, but let's get one thing really clear. My atoms have got a bond, it's my limiting factor. To use me, you gotta mix me, compound me, fix me. But if you make too much of me, I'm a really bad actor. You humans are really the trouble. You've made my input double. You ruined my balance, made compounds of nitrogen soar. It's a downright shame. You humans are to blame. Why don't you like me? Why don't you like me? Why don't you like me anymore?
The water's rising. Show us far away before.
Oh, the water's rising.
Sleeping under the door.
Oh, the water's rising.
Gotta get me to some higher ground. Yes, we are
Living by the shore.
Oh, the water's rising.
Show us far away before.
Oh, the water's rising.
Sleeping under the door.
Oh, the water's rising. Should've listened, cause they said this would come. Look, round the sphere of the earth, there's the atmosphere. Greenhouse gases in their natural state. Letting heat and light keep our harmful rays increasing at predictable rates.
You see, 200 years ago,
Industrial revolution,
greenhouse gases getting pumped in the air.
Unintended consequence of human invention,
Causing changes we have to repair.
global climate change.
Oh, the temperature's rising.
Drought and famine plague.
Oh, the temperature's rising.
Where there's mighty strain.
Oh, the temperature's rising. Should I listen, cause they said this would come. The temperature's rising.
Glaciers melted.
It's rising.
Snowfields melted.
Temperature's rising.
And volume expanding.
Should I listen, cause they said this would come. How you gonna fix
Drinking water getting salty.
when the sea fills up wells underground?
How you gonna keep lagoons
Safe for fishes when the barrier reaches come down.
What you gonna do
When the coast is eroding,
when the sea scoops out
all of the sand
gonna do when the house is flowing and the sea lifted right off the land?
Water rising an inch, oh, it's up to my toes. Water rising a foot, getting up to my knees. Water rising 2 feet, heading up to my waist. Water rising 3 feet, but I don't want to drown in building levees away. While the water's rising, what do regulators say? While the water's rising, got no time. While the water's rising,
Gotta get our thinking to some higher ground. Thinking to some higher.
Thank you very much for coming out tonight. And before we give you one final thought, we ask that you consider all that you've heard and learned in the colloquium this semester so that we may together experience more glorious years in the years to come.
don't pass the buck, we haven't time for finger-pointing factions. The politics are getting old, so here's the story we want told for generations to behold. Change in both thought and actions. This change will take some sacrifice from each and every nation. So let's now make the golden rule that science is taught well in school, with ethics as a central tool to guide its application. Let's fight for glorious years, our right to glorious years. Behavior transformation can